What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another stimulus update video. Throughout the past week, so many of us have seen the stimulus negotiations go from good to bad to good to bad again. And we're all just wondering, what in the world is going on? What is Congress thinking? Well, Nancy Pelosi and Steve Mnuchin were very close when President Trump decided to stop negotiations, which ultimately sent the stock market into an instant decline and dive, and then only hours later decided, no, let's resume stimulus talks. Right now, our entire government is in disarray. Right now, the United States government, Congress, the White House, President Trump, everybody has no clue what is going on. It's not just the White House that Nancy Pelosi seems to put it, that the White House is in disarray. No, Miss Pelosi, it is everybody. It is the entire government. Just this morning, Nancy Pelosi had this to say about President Trump. The president's attitude is shameful. When the need for immediate and meaningful action could not be more urgent, tragically, the Trump proposal falls significantly short of what this pandemic and deep recession demands. Now, we know Nancy Pelosi and President Trump do not get along. They are not friends. They do not like each other. But for the sake of the American people, they must get out of each other's way. This is why President Trump put Steve Mnuchin in charge of the negotiations, because President Trump and Nancy Pelosi would be able to do absolutely nothing. They'd call each other names, they'd bash each other, and that's about it. They would never get anything passed. Last week we heard from Nancy Pelosi herself. We also heard from Steve Mnuchin and Mark Meadows. If you don't know who Steve Mnuchin is, he is the Treasury Secretary. Mark Meadows is the White House Chief of Staff. They are both the negotiators for President Trump. Well, we heard from all three of them about how well stimulus negotiations were going. We thought, oh great, stimulus is coming very soon because they're getting close. They are agreeing on different things. All they need to do is have some clarification and justifications on certain figures and on the language. And we're gonna be having a deal in the next week, right? Well, then we get to the weekend and well, it seems now that neither party really was that close. Everybody was just giving us the runaround. We didn't get that close with stimulus negotiations. It seems that either one of the parties is changing what they want, or we were never that close to begin with. But we just don't know. Nancy Pelosi said this morning that there are roughly 8 areas of the proposal that the two sides are not agreeing on right now. She said that is state and local government funding. They are roughly $116 billion apart. They are also not close on school funding. Now, this was weird. I thought they originally agreed on the school funding, on the amount. It might be she's saying this because the language is different, is not what they want, or it is the amount. Or possibly Nancy Pelosi does not want to pass any stimulus package whatsoever prior to the election. That right now is about an 80% chance that Nancy Pelosi does not want to pass anything prior to the election, because experts are saying that that would help out President Trump way too much. As of right now, based on all the polls, if the polls are right, which back in 2016, everybody said the polls were right and Hillary Clinton should have won. However, the polls were off quite a bit. The numbers varied drastically. Well, Nancy Pelosi and Democrats do not want to take this chance. So some experts, or the majority of experts, are saying no stimulus will happen before the election. I am still under the impression that we, the American people, the voters, should be prioritized over the election. But that's just me. Who knows what Nancy Pelosi thinks, or what President Trump is thinking, what Republicans are thinking, what the Senate's thinking, or what Democrats are thinking either. Also, liability protections. This is one of the things that they are not agreeing upon. Well, we thought, based on all the reports from Nancy Pelosi and Steve Mnuchin, that they had this covered. They agreed upon this. They agreed for increased OSHA standards. Well, as of right now, Nancy Pelosi is saying no, they are not in agreement here. They also are not in agreement on rental and mortgage assistance. Now, I am 99% sure this was already agreed upon. However, Democrats are most likely wanting to increase the money because stimulus talks have been delayed. So there might be an additional need for some more stimulus in this area. We don't know for sure. We haven't got really much from Nancy Pelosi or Steve Mnuchin lately, other than the fact that Nancy Pelosi just bashes President Trump and his attempt at a decent proposal. So that is what we know. They are delayed there. We know they're delayed in testing, tracing, and treatment. They are a little bit apart there. They're about $30 billion apart, and most likely need clarification on how the funds are going to be spent. They are not in agreement on PPP funding. That was weird because reports indicate the issue wasn't the funds, but the issue is who can receive the money. Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats want only the businesses that were hit the hardest to receive any PPP funding. However, Republicans are wanting anybody that has seen a 25% decline that they can receive some of the funding as well. Well, right now what we know is they are not agreeing on the language. There's also money for the elections and the census. Well, these are two new ones. These were not things that were brought up in the past week or so. So as of right now, these are two new things that Nancy Pelosi is adding to the list of things that they are not in agreement on. Now, Nancy Pelosi today did not say anything about unemployment. However, I assume that they are not in agreement on unemployment. If all these other things, all these 7 or 8 things were not in agreement on, then I highly doubt that the Trump administration, Nancy Pelosi, came to an agreement on unemployment. Because Nancy Pelosi said they're about $200 billion apart there. So if they are worried about election and census, chances are unemployment is up there as well. Now here's the problem. Currently about 41 states have, actually not currently, there's 41 states that have paid out all of their lost wages assistance. That's the LWA that President Trump issued through an executive order. Well, 41 states have paid that out, and 7 have only been approved and have not yet started receiving any funding. That includes Alaska and that includes Nevada. So this is very worrisome, as many people are saying that this money was the only thing keeping them afloat and allowing them to pay some of their bills and to put food on the table. Right now, this pandemic is not going anywhere, so the need for federal unemployment is only going to increase, and you will see this very soon. It's already showing up across the United States, and it's only going to get worse. Every single day that Congress does not pass an additional stimulus package, it's only hurting more and more Americans. At this time, more and more businesses are beginning to lay off employees as they don't see an immediate need for their entire staff moving forward. Some big companies, for example Microsoft, don't plan on bringing back their employees into the office anytime soon. Also, with no PPP funding looking likely on the horizon, many businesses are forced to completely shut their doors. And this is only going to make matters worse. This hasn't gone unnoticed, however. Okay? President Trump has urged Congress, Steve Mnuchin and Mark Meadows have urged Congress, even wrote a letter over the weekend, telling Congress to pass some standalone bills, to pass some stimulus. Well, Mitch McConnell, the majority leader of the Senate, he has stated today that the Senate will vote on a roughly $500 billion stimulus bill that will allow for the repurposing of hundreds of billions of dollars from the previous CARES Act to be used for the PPP program. This vote will happen next Monday as soon as the Senate comes back to Capitol Hill. Currently, what they're doing is they are holding the Amy Coney Barrett hearings. You can also watch that here on YouTube if you want to. Some things are very entertaining. Other things will just make you outright miserable and mad. This bill that the Senate will ultimately vote on is said to include school funding, PPP funding, and liability protections for businesses. Although this would be great to see this come to light, Nancy Pelosi has already stated this bill will be dead on arrival once it reaches the House. Well, we know that, but why? The reason why is because Nancy Pelosi is fighting for what she believes is the only way forward for the American people. A large, broad-scale stimulus package that includes everything needed to beat the virus, honor our heroes, and, you guessed it, put money in the pockets of the American people. Right now, we are seeing firsthand what it looks like when two complete opposites are fighting for what they believe is the only path forward. Here's the problem, and many of you have already pointed this out. How could millionaires understand the only path forward for somebody that is dead broke, has no money in their wallet, no money in their bank account, has no job where they can potentially see a paycheck in the next week or so? How could millionaires see the only path forward? Well, they can't. That is the problem. What I can tell you right now is this. Right now, there's so much uncertainty in the United States. We don't know who the next president's going to be. We don't know if there will be additional stimulus package. We don't know when a vaccine will eventually come out to save the American people. We don't know when businesses are going to open up. We don't know if the flu season and COVID combined are going to make things worse. We just don't know. But all I can tell you is do whatever you can to keep yourself and your family safe and healthy. That's really the only options we have right now. I stay home as much as I possibly can. I do not try to go anywhere. I don't take my kids to stores. I don't take my kids out. We do not have people, friends, family members over to our house whatsoever, and we haven't since about March of 2020. So that's just what I do, but I'm doing my best to keep myself, my family safe, provide you guys with updates, provide you guys with help and assistance to keep you guys moving forward as well. So again, I just want to thank you guys for all the support and love that you brought to me and this channel. So again, thank you for that. Make sure you go ahead and click that subscribe button down below so I can keep you updated and show you new ways to make money and also save money in the future. So again, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.